he wants to drive an ML 350, and you wonder how that's possible. So now, while our parents speak about patience, tradition, and discipline, this generation speaks of speed, innovation, and disruption. But let me ask you a question. Does this difference have to divide us? I'm asking a question now. It doesn't have to divide us. The answer should be no. It is meant to unite us. The older generation holds the wisdom of experience. The newer generation holds the fire of possibilities. Just like the Bible will say, it says his word was like fire in my bones, right? So these generators are full of energy. Sometimes I look at my children and I wonder, how do we contain such energy? So, but if we do not build a bridge between these two generations, that fire will either burn out or worse, burn into wrong things. So, but hear me clearly, this gap is not a curse. It is an opportunity. So we need to harness what we know as this gap between the older generation and what we have now. Because the older generation carries the wisdom of experience than the younger generation. Then the younger generation brings the vision of tomorrow and energy. Mentorship is actually that bridge. I would like to say, I had a mentee, and she was telling me that I don't have all the time. I need a virtual assistant. So I was asking her, how do I post? I'm active on LinkedIn. So how do I do all this? She said, I don't need to worry myself. I need a virtual assistant. I said, really? So mentorship is far more than we know. Mentorship, I have come to understand, is the single most powerful tool for sustainable development, not just the energy sector, but across all layers, across all strata of life. It is a bridge that connects generations, transferring not only knowledge, but character. Not only character, but resilience and vision. Mentorship is not about older people lecturing younger ones, because we have a generation now that sadly they don't want to be guided. Because I think I heard somebody was saying something, and he said if God was to appear and God needs to do something in 50 years time, who would God speak to? Is it the man that is dying in 20 years time, or the man that will be present in 50 years time? I need an answer, please. I think from the younger ones. Who will God speak to? The man that will be around, that will be relevant in 50 years' time, or the one that will pass out in 10 years' time or 20 years' time? Now, even if as much as, that's the reason why, when we're talking about sustainable development, we need to incorporate what? The future generations. It is not a one-way street. It is a relationship. It is a dialogue. It is where the old say, here's what I have seen, learn from my journey. So when you have a mentor, you don't necessarily need to go around like my mentor, have different mentors in the energy sector, in leadership and all that. So you as young ones need to have such. In the academia, you need to have mentors. So you don't necessarily, it's a vantage position, because if you follow your mentor, closely, you don't necessarily have to make the mistakes your mentor made. Because the reason why they went through that part is for you to fly on the feathers. So mentorship, you learn from the journey, and the young says, here is what's possible, let me show you the future. Now the old says to the young that here's what I have seen, learn from my journey and learn from my experience. And the young turns to the older ones and says that here's what is possible, let me show you the future. Like I said, if God was to manifest now, he would speak to the younger ones, because why? The younger ones are the ones that will be relevant in the future. Now the wisdom of experience must meet creativity of the youth. When we, the older generation, makes ourselves available, not to command, but to collaborate. So we're in a system whereby, as mentors, we don't command the younger generation, we collaborate with them. We unlock something extraordinary, and when the youth approach us not with entitlement, but with curiosity, the doors of greatness now automatically flings open. Mentorship is not about hierarchy. It is about relationship. It's an experience meeting energy. It is history meeting innovation. It is tradition shaking hands with transformation. So I am the tradition, you are the transformation. It is not the wiser elder lecturing the younger learner. No, it is a two-way street. Because there are diverse, misconceptions why the younger generation don't give in to mentorship, because they feel that it's a commandment thing. It is not. It is not. It is not. The old teaches the young, this is what I have seen. These are the mistakes I make. Don't repeat them. I'm sure Mother Daisy will tell us so many things. We have quite a number. Prof will tell us. We'll have so many things that we can learn from everybody here. The young teaches the old. This is what is possible. These are the new tools, the new languages, the new world. I work in an oil and gas industry. So sometimes I call some of my mentees, what is this POV? I know they're laughing at me. It's a point of view. So you see so many things. So it's actually a two-way street. We are not claiming to say we know everything, but we're saying, can you lead us into the future? We also have experience we are bringing back. To students, a call to action. Don't wait to make it before you start seeking guidance. It's a dangerous thing. You don't have to wait to make it before you seek guidance. What my mentor did for me was he structured me in a way. I read, my background is geology. So he structured me in a way, both the discipline I was. So when my colleague or my mates, my classmates were running around, he gave me a guided structure. So what would have taken me maybe over 10 years to do, 15 years to do, by that relationship, it gave me a shorter time to do. So don't wait to make it before you start seeking guidance. Don't be too proud to ask questions. Mentorship starts with conversation, a message, a walk after the class, a moment of listening. Find mentors, either formally or informally. I hope you know that, the richest black man on earth, talking about Bill Gates, and he says to us that his mentor was Dan Tata, his in-law, his father-in-law, right? You have Steve Jobs, you have Bill Gates. So every great man you know today or you hear about today talks about having what? A mentor. So you seek out, and mentorship doesn't have to be only vertical. You can have mentors, horizontally. So seek out mentors even when you think you don't need it. Ask questions, stay hungry. Now, the currency of life is about staying hungry. Every hungry man needs to be satisfied. So if you are hungry with greatness and hungry with knowledge, I assure you one day you'll find it. Are you with me? If only you can be hungry for something. If only you can create your world. If only you can create your future. I've admired you from a distance. I've admired you from a distance. And I want to officially salute you. I've seen you today. If only you can actually create what you want, you need to gain capacity. I said I'm from the oil and gas background. I'm a Nigerian content advocate. And what it simply means is that I feel that we have everything within us to do what we want to do. Yeah, we talk about energy transition. But I also know that if we can develop capacity and capability, Nigeria, if we can be intentional, we can transfer what we have. Now, and I give you something. Formerly we have, I'm still on time. We had Peugeot, a Peugeot factory in, Kano then. So when the issue was, Peugeot is from France. So when they left, now, and the challenge why that factory was not bought, that manufacturing plant, is because there was no mentorship. So the reason there was no transfer of knowledge. So when an investor bought that factory, nobody could operate the machines. Why? The gap. This was not sustainable. And the reason why you can have a multi-billionaire and he dies and his name dies in this country, we have several of them, it's because no mentorship. We can take it from our political class, academia, leadership. It's because there's no intentional. So the total summation of life lies within building bridge. Mentorship. Do not be too proud. For students, call to action. Don't be too proud to ask questions. Mentorship starts with a conversation, a message, a walk after a class, a moment of listening. Now, don't be too proud. One of my oil and gas mentor, I would mention her name here. I think her husband is from River State. I feel proud to mention. Now, we sat just like we're sitting now. I want to talk about don't be too proud. The mere fact that we sat in an event, in an oil and gas conference, I was the speaker, she was the speaker. She's the managing director of Nekonde. So the fact that we sat when the same, just like the way we were sitting, did not delude my eyes that I don't need her as a mentor. So the mere fact that you are sitting beside your colleague doesn't take away the fact that you need them as a mentor. Are you understanding my point? From few days ago, maybe like 5 days ago, they were in a top management meeting with the GC of NNPC. And she was telling me some things. Some privileged information I have had when I go to speak for events. Sometimes you need a mentor's ideas to help you to fashion it out. So the fair fact that it's your colleague or your classmate does not mean, I said to you, mentorship can be horizontal and can also be vertical. So it's no one size fits all. You can have mentors for different things. Seek out mentors even when you think you don't need. Ask questions, stay hungry for knowledge. Learn not just from books, but from the stories of those who have walked the road before. And remember, mentorship is not only upward, like I've said. You can mentor your peers, your genius, even your future self. And for the elders and leaders, this I say to you, the youths are not our competition, they are our collaborators. The youths are not our competition, they are our continuation. Make room for their ideas, guide them not by control, but by connection. Our work is not done when we retire. Our work is done when we raise those that can go further than we ever did. Don't just pass the torch. Teach them to carry the torch. It's not enough to pass the torch, but how well do they know how to maneuver with this torch? How well do they know the usability of the torch? How well do they know the applicability of this torch? In Nigeria, as national relevance, we don't suffer from a shortage of talent. Rather, we have a shortage of transfer of wisdom, structured, consistent, and meaningful mentorship. This is where we must invest, not just in industries, but in people. Let us not build walls of criticism, but bridges of understanding. Let the old pass the torch with trust, and let the young carry it with responsibility. Because at the end of the day, mentorship is not just a tool for personal growth, it is an engine for national development. My closing thought. So whether you are 20 in the room, whether you are 15, whether you are 60, whether you are 40, as a student, as a lecturer, as an industry captain, as a teacher, whatever you are, know this. You are part of a bigger story. You are part of a chain that connects generations. And mentorship is the link that keeps the chain strong. Bridging generation is not just a task, it's a legacy. So I leave this charge with you. Let us not build walls of judgment. Let us build bridges of understanding. Let the old pass the torch with trust. Let the young carry it with honor. Because real leadership is not being the brightest star in the sky. It's about helping others shine. God bless Uniport. God bless the youth. And God bless Nigeria. Thank you.